This is Discovering the Scriptures with Dr. Peter John Parisis. Currently, we are in Daniel chapter 2, verse 30, reading from the King James Bible. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Unquote. Now I'm going to go ahead and read this now in context. This is the last verse of the paragraph. The paragraph goes Daniel 2:27 through Daniel 2:30. Reading from the King James Bible, quote, Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers, show unto the king? But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the vision of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Unquote. Now let's look at the Interlinear Bible on this, the raw translation first. Quote, anyone more than in me is that with wisdom not, but as for me, that our sakes, for, but to me, has been revealed this secret. Now that secret is a masculine singular determinate. Living of your heart and the thoughts, who make known to the king the interpretation, that you may know. Now that's the raw translation. Let's go ahead and look at this now in reading from the Young Literal Translation. Quote, as for me, not for any wisdom that is in me above any living hath this secret been revealed to me, but for the intent that the interpretation to the king they make known, and the thoughts of thy heart thou dost know. Unquote. Okay, let's parse this verse out. He's again writing this in Aramaic. But as for me, this secret is not revealed. Now let's look at the Aramaic word for revealed. It's PL stem, so it's casual. Passive participle represents an action or condition in its unbroken continuity and corresponds to the English to be. Okay, now let's continue. Revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known. Let's parse out that word. It is an APL stem, so it's a causative conjunction. It's imperfect, so it's not complete. Shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know. Let's parse out that Aramaic word, and that thou mightest know. PL stem, imperfect aspect. Casual, not completed action. Continuing on. The thoughts of thy heart. That finishes the parsing of this verse. As you can see, it's not difficult to parse out the verses in the original language once you know the tools that are available, how to read them, and how to take them. So with practice, this becomes rather easy. Now, let's go ahead and look at the commentaries on this to see what we have available and what's going on. This is John Gill, quote, But as for me, as to the part I have in this affair, I can ascribe nothing to myself. It is all owing to the God of heaven, the recovery of the dream, and its interpretation. This secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living. Not that he thought or affirmed that he had more vision than any man living, as the Vulgate Latin version and others suggest, but as the king might think he had by revealing the secret to him, and that it was owing to that, but that he had not such wisdom, and whatever he had, which was the gift of God, it was not through that, or any wisdom and penetration into things he was master of, superior to others, that it was revealed to him, and therefore would not have it placed in any such account. This he said in great modesty, and in order to set the king right, and that God might have all the glory. But for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, meaning not only himself and his companions concerned with him, that they might be promoted to honor and dignity, but the whole body of the Jews in captivity, with which they were in connection, that they might meet with more civil and kind treatment, for the sake of the God they worshipped, who revealed the secret to the king, but that they might make known, etc., the three persons of the Godhead, as some, the angels, as others, the ministers of God, as Ben Ezra, or rather it may be rendered impersonally, but that the interpretation might be made known to the king, as by the Vulgate Latin, as it follows, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart, both what they were, which were forgotten, and the meaning of it. Unquote. Now this ends John Gill's commentary. Now I do want to point out a few things. John Gill has in here that the whole body of the Jews in captivities, and talking about their treatment. This verse doesn't give us this. I do not know where he pulled this from. But I do know he does mention Ben Ezra. Now Ben Ezra was born in the year 10,090, and he did write a commentary on the Talmud and the Old Testament. And it's written in Hebrew. It seems like both John Gill and Matthew Henry have both utilized these commentary from him, because they both do quote from him. And our modern day commentaries are also quoting from Matthew Henry and John Gill. So we have a tradition going from previous commentaries. I'm looking more and more into the older commentaries to see what I can pull forward from them. And it seems like our gentlemen from the 1700s have done the same thing. So I'm taking a look anyways to see if there's anything else in all the commentaries, and then bringing them forward to you. The reason I have only read John Gill's is because the conglomeration of what I have read is pretty well summed up right here. So we're getting quite a bit of knowledge from all this. And we're getting quite a bit of church history brought down to us as we study each verse. This is fantastic. We don't know what's going to take place just yet. We have to continue to find out what is going on, what is happening, what are these interpretations, who are they for, and where are we going with this. So stay tuned to the next verse in Discovering the Scriptures. May God richly bless you as you study and continue meditating in His Word.